those apartments.
I'm sorry, what did you say? I can't hear you.
I said there's a lot of celebrating going on up in those apartments.
Oh, celebrating. Is that what that is?
Where are they going with all this? All these niggers making all this noise.
This is our lowest day. I can't even talk. In my head. Hate this.
Yeah, they really got us this time. They got us good.
Yeah, we're not completely whipped. I mean, whoopty fucking shit. Emancipation Day, 1827. Who gives a shit, right? We're not gonna lose this. No. You and I gotta remember this day.
As what?
As the day that we took our fucking country back. From these people.
Yeah, let's do this. Black ass down here. Grab that chair. Don't cut your eyes. Something you want to say? Yeah, I didn't think so. You see what everybody else is doing? Get to it. Yeah. More like it. Now, was this so hard? Huh? Now the next. Hey, excuse me, buddy. Hey, asshole! What the fuck? Hey, nigga, listen, excuse me!
The hour has come, and the man must act, or forever be a slave. James Pennington. What's in a name? I ask you, what is in a name? James Pembroke was enslaved, but James Pennington was a free man of color. And yet they were one and the same. James Pembroke was born in 1807 in Rockland, Maryland. Like most of his family, he was the property of one Frisbee Tillman. That's right, I said his master's name was Frisbee. After watching his father beaten and his mother threatened one too many times, Mr. Pembroke decided it was time for him to get the hell out of town. He left on a Sunday, as most African Americans in the South had the day of Sabbath off and were free to visit friends and relatives who lived nearby. He could neither read nor write. He knew virtually nothing about the vast world into which he was about to wander. He knew that in Pennsylvania he could be a free man, and he knew that Pennsylvania was north. So he followed the North Star. Now, Rockland was only 6 or 7 miles from the Pennsylvania border, so it should have been a very manageable journey, but unfortunately for Mr. Pembroke, he headed due east toward Baltimore, which was not the place for a fugitive slave at the time. He ended up being on the run for 8 days, during which time he was recaptured twice, and he escaped again twice. On the 8th day, hungry and exhausted, he saw a woman in a toll booth on the side of the road, and he decided to take a chance. Excuse me, ma'am, what state am I in?
You are in Pennsylvania.
Do you think that there's anywhere nearby where I might find lodging?
Oh, yes, just down this road, and then off to the left.
When he got to the house, a Quaker man named William Wright answered the door. Excuse me, sir, do you think that I might find work here?
Come in then and take thy breakfast, and we will talk about it. Thou must be cold without an overcoat.
Pembroke, or should I say Pennington, would always remember these words. It was the first time in his life that another white man had referred to him as a man himself. Less than a year later, he would make it to his final destination, Brooklyn. Incidentally, that evening Mr. Pembroke spent in captivity. The local magistrate questioned him numerous times as to his name, but clever James wouldn't tell him. So the magistrate simply called him New John.
He's a new John. It's a long, long, long John. He's a long, 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 long John. It's a long, long.
I want to tell you all a story about Frederick Havemeyer and his sugar business. You see, Mr. Havemeyer figured out that the money in sugar was not in storing it or selling it, but in refining it. So, he went from having a small storefront business to an internationally known company all by himself. He had a little help. In Kings County, there was Queen Sugar, the Havemeyer Townsend Company, where they stored sugar, refined sugar, 300,000 pounds a day. Oh, me. They first started in the city, but the city's way too crowded, still is. So they crossed the East River to Brooklyn. Williamsburg was so inviting, so they set up shop and kept selling. There's a penny to be made in saccharin, just as long as you don't. As long as you don't. As long as you don't. Everything is sweet. As long as you don't. As long as you don't. As long as you don't. Everything is sweet. Sugar comes from Jamaica, Louisiana, and the Indies. Then it's shipped all over the USA.
The great USA.
Hey! Cut by bleeding hands in blazing fields where people whip them with great zeal. But that was A-okay.
A-okay.
So we can have our biscuits, our pork buns, and our coffee, our cakes, our cookies, our donuts, and our tea. Life is good on the sweet stuff. We'll never have enough. No, no, no. The taste just makes us free. You guys feel like dancing? Yes.
Yeah.
Scarlett?
As long as you don't see the slaves, as long as you don't see the slaves, as long as you don't see the slaves, everything is sweet. As long as you don't see the slaves, as long as you don't see the slaves, as long as you don't see the slaves, everything is sweet. As long as you don't see the slaves, as long as you don't see
Weeksville, my only hope. Weeksville, I'm never alone. Weeksville, you are my home. With Weeksville, there's no need to roam. In 1821, New York State passed a law that required all men of African descent to own $250 in property in order to vote. At the same time, it eliminated those property requirements for white voters. Black Brooklynites protested. The village of Weeksville was the answer to an unfair and unjust law. Savvy black businessmen working together, filled with self-determination, brought forth the community of Weeksville, founded as a land-owning community that would support them as full citizens with voting rights.
We know their occupations. They were barbers,
Tailors, carpenters,
Painters,
butchers,
shoemakers, bakers, coachmen.
rope makers.
And thanks to the census lists, we have their names.
Hey, did you hear about the African school? It's laughable, really. They have no funding, no supplies, they barely even have students. Could you imagine if one of them tried to do, say, arithmetic?
Ridiculous! At least it keeps them off the streets.
Hey, have you heard about the African school? I understand they have Negroes teaching the classes. Think of how they must teach the alphabet. But A, but B, but C, but D.
Ridiculous!
Maybe one of them will win one of our spelling bees.
Hey, did you hear about the new African school? Do tell! Well, they're trying to get them to read books, but I'm thinking, do they even know what a book is? Ridiculous!
I don't think this is funny at all.
What do they think they're doing?
What can a Negro do with an education? Ridiculous!
When James Pembroke was enslaved, like most African Americans of the South, he was specifically deprived an education. Literacy meant knowledge. Knowledge meant empowerment. Empowerment meant a means of effecting permanent change. The slaveholders simply could not risk this. But here, in Brooklyn, where James Pennington was a free man of color, education became his means of salvation. When I came to Brooklyn, I was a blacksmith. Then I learned to be a coachman. Then I learned to read the Bible and interpret the word of the Lord our Savior. Then I went to Yale, and I learned how to sit outside the classroom from which I was barred and listen in pursuit of my degree. Now I am a teacher, and I walk 8 miles a day from my home in Brooklyn Heights to this school. I am here merely to give your children the same opportunities I have been afforded over the past few years in this great, great city. Fine citizens of Brooklyn, I pray you set not your eyes on the past and what has been. Set your eyes on the future and what will be. Let me teach your children, and you will see what is to come.
Oh my God!
I'm speechless, darling. It's just fantastic. It hit me right here.
It hit me here and here and here.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Fantastic.
That was fabuloso.
Hello.
Hello.
Wait.
We are the Black Female Abolitionists. Oh, ye daughters of Africa, what have ye done to immortalize your names beyond the grave?
Hell no, girl. Whose idea was that? Because I quit. I can't do it.
I can't do it either.
No.
Come on.
These were sisters, right?
Yes, activists.
Activists, yes. We got to do them some justice.
Justice. We have to.
You know what?
What?
I say we break it down.
Let's break it down.
Mm-hmm. You think they ready?
Y'all ready?
See?
Y'all don't sound, they don't sound ready to me. Y'all ready?
See? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Can we get a little something? All right.
How y'all doing out there? Y'all all right? Y'all hot? Y'all okay? Because you know, we're a community. We're in this together, right? This is our story, is it not? Hey. Now, let me get my microphone together.
That's all right. Take your time.
You know what? Let's open up our history doors.
Yes.
Ooh, girl, would you look at that?
Oh.
We had our emancipation in 1827. Ooh.
Celebration!
Freedom! Woo! Or so we thought. Because, yeah, then they gave us a nasty little pushback, did they not?
But that's okay because we pushed right on that.
Yes, we did. We built our own communities out of dirt, out of rubble, out of nothing.
Schools, orphanages.
Yes, Weeksville.
Ah!
And you know what? We came from those very schools, did we not?
Yes, we did.
Mm-hmm. This is my good friend, Mary Wilson. Not from the Supremes, y'all. Come on now.
And this is my good friend, Mrs. Maria W. Stewart.
Live and in the flesh. And we're going to share our stories with y'all tonight. Is that all right? I said, is that all right? Yes, now you hear me. How about you start us off?
All right. Been waiting for this moment. One, two, three, four. My name is Mary Wilson. I'm married to William Wilson, better known as E.
you work with the Colored Orphan Asylum?
I sure do, and I have a ball.
Yes, girl. Don't you know my good friend Elizabeth Gloucester works with the Colored Orphan Asylum?
Liz Gloucester. Me and Elizabeth is like this.
You and Liz, girl, we
Yes.
is too. Hey, we gotta be best friends now.
Now you know we best friends.
Well,
Now, as I was about to say,
oh, I'm sorry about that.
don't you worry a thing. The Colored Orphan Asylum is all the way in Manhattan. And I live in Brooklyn. I live in Fort Greene, honey. There is no Brooklyn Bridge yet. I'm tired.
Well,
But it just goes to show you, we've got our hands all over the place. We're like the Justice League.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Wherever we're needed, that's where we are.
that's where we are.
I said where we're needed, that's where we are.
That's where we are.
Take it, Maria.
Oh, hey! My name is Maria Stone. I'm an activist and an educator. But I didn't start out that way, no. Born free. I was woke at the age of 5. I became a servant to put myself through Sabbath school. And in my 20s, I became the first American woman to lecture to a mixed audience of men and women, y'all. Yes! It went a little something like this. Oh, my beautiful people, you must actively seek your equality. Don't accept second-class citizenship. Now, can I hear, oh, yeah! Oh, yes! But I gotta leave y'all like I left Boston. But in Boston, they would do nothing. Come on over here. Brooklyn, how you doing? Oh, yes, my beautiful people. You must become politicians. You must uplift yourself in your community. Oh, you don't hear me? You must uplift yourself. Oh, you must uplift yourself.
A little bit softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit softer now, a little bit softer. All right, y'all. Maria done put herself out. Help me to resuscitate her. Repeat after me. Education. 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 Education.
Let me hear ya. One more time. Woo! Let me hear ya. Educate. 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 Oh, yes. Educate. You got to educate. Yourself. And yourself. And yourself. Woo!
Because education is the key to your citizenship.
Louis Tappan and his brother Arthur were notorious for combining business and religion. In fact, their employees were not allowed to drink alcohol of any kind. They had to be in their homes by 10 p.m., and they were not allowed to visit houses of ill repute, which included theaters. Or fraternizing with actor types. They had to go to church every Sunday. Twice. And they had to be part of an anti-slavery society and try to recruit as many people as possible.
The Reverend Charles Bennett Ray was co-founder and editor of the Colored American. He was also a conductor on the Underground Railroad. was always there when people needed him. A useful worker, a foot soldier, a spoke in the wheel of justice.
Well, Lewis Stafford and Charles Ray both happen to be co-in-charge of one Weems Fund. The Weems Fund is a bit of money that was set aside for Anna Maria Weems and her family to escape from slavery into freedom. Now, one day, Lewis Stafford noticed there was slightly less money in that fund than there should have been, so he called Charles Ray over to his house so they may talk about it.
Oh, Brother Tappan, it's been such a very, 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 very long time since you and I sat down around the table and broke bread together.
Brother Ray, I could not agree more. We're both very busy men.
Well.
So let's get down to business.
Yeah.
I was looking over the Weeks Fund, and I noticed a slight deficiency in the amount of money that's normally in there. I was hoping that you could shed some light on the topic.
I most certainly can.
Oh, good.
You see, my roof was leaking.
Oh, what a shame.
And my carriage, you know that carriage I have out in the backyard?
Oh, yeah, the one
with the front right wheel is broken. And since y'all hadn't been paid the $600 that we had agreed upon, I just took a little, you could say, an advance out of the fund. You can call it a microloan.
What's a microloan?
It was a microloan.
What is a microloan?
It was a teeny, tiny, minuscule, little loan.
Let me get this straight.
Hold on, wait.
You stole money from a slave girl. Steal is not the right word.
No, it's not.
What word would you use?
Well, I think it's very interesting that you're telling me what I can do and not do with this money.
That's interesting.
I think you're being very paternalistic with me, sir. That's what I think.
Paternalistic?
Yes, I think you're being very paternalistic with me, sir.
You want to see me be paternalistic? Well, then I might as well just call you.
Now,
boy.
listen, did you call me, boy?
I was proving
Oh, no, you called me.
No, I did not call
Did you hear him call me, boy?
Okay, this went on for 3 hours. Lewis Tappan berated Charles Ray.
And the good Reverend, being the gentleman that he was, just let the words float right on past him.
Where's the money?
Don't call me boy.
Where's the money?
I'm a man.
Where's the money?
Don't call me boy.
Oh, boy.
Man.
Boy.
Man.
Boy.
Man. (1847). Henry Ward Beecher arrives at Plymouth Church in Brooklyn. Long hair flowing wild, clothes disheveled, pools of deep blue eyes bulging out of his forehead. Those who saw him preach, including his mistress, knew that they indeed were looking upon a man of God.
ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine if your daughter was going to be sold into slavery? How much money would you pay to set her free?
Give me a nickel, a dime, or a dollar. It's all any tender we accept to free her from her collar. Bid a penny, give a dollar. Use your Seeger money to buy this girl's neck. Every clink of a coin breaks a chink of a chain. Every buck wipes away a tear. See your own darling here on the block and in pain. It could be Rachel, not Pinky up here. Don't like Pinky?
No.
We've got Aggies and Mollies and Susans and Sallys and Mabels and Mauds up on the block to be free, and it's my guarantee. Your sweethearts, your aunties and maws. I think it's about time to pass down those plates, everybody. It's your cash in the can and your coin on the plate that'll help this young lass get control of her fate. You need another sash? No! She goes out little lash. Need a new hat? Don't need that. Need the plate. She needs $900 to take off her collar. Expender's look right here. Love us every cent that you leave on the plate, and he'll grant you a wish for each dollar you make. So don't leave this world with the scar on that girl. You'll be damned to hellfire and so, give me a nickel, a dime, or a dollar. It's all in any tender we accept to free her from her collar. Bid a penny, give a dollar. It's 900 that we need to save this girl's
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We need $900 to save Pinky from slavery. Now I know that deep down inside your pockets you've got some good money you want to share for a good cause. Brother Michael David here is carrying a very ugly suitcase into which I'm going to put all of your very good money. So, let's start the bidding at 0. Come on.
$100.
$100. Thank you very much, miss. Thank you very much, miss. We got $200 already. We got $200, ladies and gentlemen. We got $200. $200.
200!
Thank you, Brother Michael David. We got $400. We got $400 now. We got $450. $550. Thank you so much. We got $550. $550 plus $550. That's $1,100. That's it. That's all we need. That's it. $1,100. We needed $900 to save Pinky. We raised $1,100. Thank you so much. I don't often want to huzzah out in church, but today might be the day. Huzzah!
Compromise of 1850.
It cuts, excoriates,
California enters the Union as a free state.
forms, modulates,
Texas enters the Union as a slave state.
perturbs, maddens.
Slavery is abolished in Washington, D.C.
It cures or directly kills, amplifies or reduces.
The fugitive slave law is enacted.
It excites or calms souls. It excites or calms souls.
That's my name. No longer Margaret Baker. Here I sit. Rocking masses, baby, nestled in my arms. I was free once. Had my 4 children, I was happy, so comfortable and warm, felt my babies in my arms. Timothy, Angel, Walter, and Leroy, reflections of my own likeness. Oh, shh, 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 shh. But I went on about my business. You gotta work to earn your keep here. Brooklyn House, my home. No need to roam. Tending, shucking, and cleaning. Tending, shucking, cleaning.
Margaret? There's an officer at the door says he wants to talk to you.
Oh, hello, officer. Is there anything that I can do for you?
I've been sent to retrieve you, and I should fetch a healthy price, too, for Mr. and Mrs. Baker.
No, please, no, they let me go years ago. You see, I'm free now. No, don't touch my children, no! This means they're only home. Babies screaming, children screaming. Please fell on deaf ears, and they rip me from my children! Strip me of my freedom! Heavy load! No, this ain't my home, no! Tending, shucking, cleaning. Tending, shucking, cleaning. If you see my children, tell them I love them. I didn't get to say it when you ripped them from my arms. Tending, shucking, cleaning. Tending, shucking, cleaning. Tending, shucking, cleaning. Tending, shucking, cleaning.
My sister, I feel your pain.
Everybody gather round, come and listen to the sounds of the this story. Once upon a time there was a man, and he lived in Williamsburg. His name was James Hamlet. I said his name was James Hamlet, and he was a Brooklyn resident. He was a free man of color. I said he was a free man of color. So one day Mr. Hamlet stepped outside, walking down the bustling city street. He was taking in the fresh morning air, smiling as he passed everywhere, strolling on as he went on by. Are you James Hamlet? I am James. I am James Hamlet. What can I do for you? Well, Mr. Hamlet, you are a witness in a criminal case, and we need you to follow us. Right there at 58 Water Street, they arrested him. There was no criminal case, but there was Mr. Hamlet's race. Mr. Officer, why are you holding me? What are my charges? Explain so I can see. You are a runaway slave from Baltimore. We intend to return you to Mrs. Mary Brown. But I'm a free man of color. I was born a free man of color. Look, I have my papers. My grandmother, she keeps my papers. I can prove that I'm free. Although James Hamlet did clarify the fugitive slave law pacified a trial by judge or jury. It don't matter if your palm are filled with fury. The law clearly states that a runaway slave must go back to their master. Such a disaster. James Hamlet couldn't find his paper, so no one could help him, family or neighbor. They promptly took him back to Baltimore, so Williamsburg, Brooklyn is no more.
community's swift response to Hamlet's capture was not near, but the culmination of a long tradition of rescue.
Hooray for the return.
Black New Yorkers were prepared. They circulated their anger. The fugitive bill, the panting slave, free men to be made slaves.
Hooray for the return.
Let every colored man and woman attend the great mass meeting to be held at Zion Church.
As free as its right.
Shall we resist oppression? Shall we defend our liberties?
We are not a bunch of frightened mice.
Shall we be free men or slaves?
Just keep your shutters closed tonight. Hooray for the return.
1,500 people turned out for the meeting.
You have to work for freedom.
To denounce slavery and raise money for Hamlet's freedom.
The wrongs if they burn.
Charles Ray rose to announce that $800 has been raised to secure Hamlet's freedom.
James Hamlet has been free.
Hamlet returned to Brooklyn as a free man.
His wife and kids are happy to see.
And was greeted by thousands of supporters.
But James Hamlet cannot say a thing.
I am truly humbled.
Bennington, why are you going to London?
The fugitive slave law, Mr. Tappan. I desire to get out of the country for a period of time.
Walk with me?
James, we need you here. Your students need you here. Our church needs you here.
I need my freedom.
You are free.
Free of mind, yes. Free of person.
Of course you are free of person.
James, that is ridiculous.
Ridiculous, perhaps, to one who has never been hunted.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
There are those who still think of us merely as beasts of burden, Mr. Tappan. Unfortunately, the rest of the country does not think like Brooklyn.
Like Brooklyn. Don't be so naive, James. Brooklyn was built on backs of slaves.
And rebuilt again by ordinary citizens.
So then why leave?
Because I can no longer sleep at night. This is no longer about Brooklyn. This is about the rest of the country and the divisions that continue to rip us apart.
You're playing a victim. They might have already, they basically just won.
I have been victimized, yes, but I am not a victim. That is why I have the means and the will to go to London.
So then, James, when are you going to stop running?
When am I going to? When the Lord, our Savior, reaches down with his benign hand and plucks our blind brothers and sisters from out their darkness. When every state in this union stands up for the rights of each of its citizens. When we are all truly free. Too many people know my little secret, Mr. Tappan. I've published a book. Perhaps you've read it. But I assure you, I am not running away anymore. I have come into the sunshine, and I will continue to run headlong into the consequences.
Now, I met this John Brown one time here in Brooklyn, and I have to say, while I don't hold much truck with his methods, I must admire the man's courage, him and his sons and his compatriots. I mean, they were trying to do a good thing, trying to rid this country of slavery. And I just pray that, well, I pray that the powers that be see their way clear to have a little mercy on his soul.
This raid has done nothing but cause damage all over the country. People are terrified. Whole states have been made to tremble.
Now, I agree with you. Critics want to focus on the insanity of Captain Brown and his sons, but they completely overlook the bravery that it took for them to shed their blood to rid this country of this national crime.
Way up in the Kansas territory, there once lived a man named John Brown. Now, if you ever saw him, you might think that he was a combination between a very evil Santa Claus and Osama bin Laden.
If you want to make a change in the world today, you can't do it passively. Reverend John Brown, he knew that. So he went to his shed and he pulled down his broadsword. John and his sons arrived in Potawatomi in search of a man who favored slavery. The man he begged, show me mercy. And John Brown smiled and thought to himself, I am. Then John Brown chopped him into pieces. John Brown hacked him into bits. You ruffian, stay away from that scary looking man, 'cause I heard he might be crazy. Now 4 more times, John went kicking down doors and cut men down with his righteous sword. He was on the lam, sons by his side. He said, I will not rest until slavery dies. Then John Brown chopped him into pieces. John Brown hacked him into bits. You ruffians, stay away from that scary looking man, 'cause I heard he might be crazy. He wrote to his friends to join his war. So they sent him guns, then they sent him more. He makes last stand in an armory, but he lost the fight to General Lee. Within 2 weeks, his men were hanged, but the storm was denied. The tide changed, I'm going next stool. They asked John Brown, any last words, sir? And John Brown smiled and said, I, John Brown, am now quite certain that the crimes of this guilty lad can
It was April 12th, 1861, when the Civil War begun with the Battle of Fort Sumter. I'm Daniel Hoff, the first man killed, murdered by a small spark accidentally setting off an explosion. I have 3 kids, 2 girls and a boy, and a beautiful wife who stays at home. A happy life back in Virginia until the Civil War. I was accidentally murdered, ripped away from my family, torn out of my happy life by a misfortune of the Civil War.
A proclamation. Whereas on the 22nd day of September, in the year of our Lord 1862, a proclamation was issued by the President of the United States containing, among other things, the following, to wit, that on the 1st day of January in the year of our Lord 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall be then, thenceforward, and forever free. And the executive government of the United States, including the military, will authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to oppress such persons, or any of them, in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom.
Manhattan is on fire. 120 people are dead. 11 blacks have been lynched. In Brooklyn, the streets are silent, but the people are watching and ready.
In that moment, Brooklyn showed that it was ready once again. People streamed into oases such as Williamsburg, Weeksville, Carsville, the woods of Flatbush. Brooklynites were ready as they had been for decades. They were ready, as we have heard in these stories of women and men, named and unnamed. And the founders of Weeksville, the 1,500 unnamed Brooklynites who turned out for a meeting to denounce slavery and raise money for the return of James Hamlet, Maria Stewart, William and Mary Wilson, with the congregations of Brooklyn's black churches, Siloam Presbyterian, Bridge Street, Concord, so many others, the members of the congregation of Plymouth Church, who raised money to buy rifles, Beecher's Bibles, to arm John Brown's revolutionary abolitionists, James and Elizabeth Gloucester, dear friends of one Frederick Douglass and of John Brown, all residents of Brooklyn, all citizens of the universe. James Pennington went to Europe to lobby for the abolitionist cause and was awarded an honorary degree from Heidelberg University before returning once again to Brooklyn. Pennington asked, "What can I do for that vast body of suffering brotherhood that I have left behind?" During the war, he helped raise black troops for the Northern Army. After the war, education became his priority once again because he knew only an educated citizenry could lay claim to the full benefits of freedom. When emancipation is followed by enfranchisement, when there is no more trouble concerning the black man and his rights in regard to the rest of the citizenry, when in every respect he is equal under the law, then only true freedom will have been attained.
Well, John said in 10 chapter 10, if a man die, he will live again. Well, they crucified my Jesus and they nailed him to the cross. Sister Mary cried, my child is lost. He's long gone. He's long gone.
2-3 minutes, let me catch my wind. In 2-3 minutes, I'm gone again. My John said just before he did, well, I'm going home.